Hi there and welcome. Today we're going to look at pawns. Now, there's a rule in chess, which everyone knows, all chess players know, but we tend to forget. Pawns do not move backwards. Sounds obvious, but let me show you something. This pawn on e2 currently controls d3 and f3. It also, if it captured on d3, for example, it has the potential to control c4, and if it captured on c4, it would have the potential to control b5, etc., up to a6, and similarly, in the other direction, up to h5. So, at the moment, this pawn is controlling, or has the potential to control, all these squares and all the squares in front of it. The second that we move that pawn, so we just move it one square, it loses a great deal of its potential. It leaves behind squares that it can never potentially control. And again, that area above, inside the V, becomes smaller, and the area behind it becomes bigger. So whenever we move our pawns, our position is losing some potential, some flexibility, and we're leaving behind weaknesses. Korchnoi noted that in time trouble, players tend to move their pawns. And there was one instant where he was observing this, somebody in a time scramble, and in a time scramble, their pawns started moving and the position started deteriorating straight away. And I've used this insight to actually avoid trouble in time-pressured situations. I remember one particular situation. I was pretty level position, difficult to, but I wanted to win. I was playing in a tournament against a lower-rated opponent, and I just did not move my pawns until during the time scramble. My opponent did, and his position deteriorated. So, pawns do not move backwards. Whenever you move a pawn, you lose some flexibility, some potential in the position. Squares that could have been controlled are no longer controlled and can never be controlled again by that pawn. In conjunction with what we looked at yesterday, the activity of the pieces, what this means is that we should, where possible, attack with the pieces. If we have two variations, and the assessment of the variation at the end seems to be pretty close. One variation involves attacking with the pieces, another involves attacking with pawns. I would choose the variation with the pieces, which would keep flexibility, the most flexibility in our position. Now, some of you may be thinking, I know pawns don't move backwards, but do you really? Look at your games. I've got one game in particular where my opponent just kept advancing pawns, and his position just deteriorated. Chess is about the activity of the pieces primarily. The pawns are useful, but they shouldn't be overused or used when the pieces could do a better job. Our complete game that we'll analyse together this week is very special. It's one of my games against none other than Super Grandmaster Jan Timman. And in that game, I didn't follow this rule. I forgot that my pawns didn't move backwards. Anyway, before we get to that game, we've got a couple of other interesting examples which we'll be looking at tomorrow and the following day. This is Roy Phillips. Thanks for your attention. Speak to you soon.